yourself, or imagine that target goal, certain target weight at a certain time, fix a date and fix a time and focus on it, and that's the key thing.
And what would you say are the most common reasons for failure, and what would people do if they're listening if they do fail or they get held up in achieving their goals? What, in your experience, is the most common reason?
It's often the classic scenario is people sign up for gyms for a year's membership and they go for the first 3 months and they fall out. That's why gyms can massively oversubscribe. So I think the key is to be really crystal clear about your goal, but then also if you use self-hypnosis or recordings to kind of supercharge it and to really keep your focus on it, you're working on an unconscious level, which enables you to really hone that. If you use that kind of method, you won't fail. But if you just do it consciously, it's not liable to have as long-lasting effect. So that's the most important thing, I would say, to sort of supercharge your goals, and then you won't fail.
Well, let's move on to talking about our inspirations, Glenn. I've been looking forward to this bit, and thinking specifically, I thought it'd be quite interesting to think about audiobooks and audiobooks that you might have listened to that have kind of influenced you. What are the kind of things that have influenced you that you've heard out there on Audible or wherever it is that you listen to audiobooks?
I suppose I started making recordings back in the late 90s, and at that time I remember listening to Anthony Robbins' recordings, and they were really powerful, strong recordings and very motivational, and that kind of inspired me. But with my recordings, they tend to be a lot softer because I'm a more laid-back character. So even though he inspired me, I ended up making recordings that were quite different, about taking people into a deeper state of hypnosis, and I use sort of calming techniques.
A bit gentler, yours are.
Much more gentler, yeah. But I also use a lot of sounds and certain frequencies on my recordings that help to induce certain states, because there are certain keys and certain frequencies and certain ancient scales that can really change people's feelings when they hear those certain sounds. So I use a lot of that in the background, but very subtly. One
of the things I was looking forward to talking to you about was one of the books that I've really loved listening to is The Secret.
Yeah.
You know, and I thought the book, the film, and the audiobook showed how self-help can actually be made. You know, it's quite kind of cinematic, it's quite Hollywood-esque, isn't it? And it almost kind of made it cool, I thought. Now, I know you're writing a book about the law of attraction.
Yeah.
What did you think of The Secret? Is that something that you enjoyed as well?
Yeah, very much so, because they made it so easy to understand, and it was a very clever way of selling the law of attraction. What they did really well there was be able to explain it in such a simple way that it kind of engaged the masses. So that was a really important book because it opened people up to the law of attraction. So I think there's, and it is a very powerful law, because...
And now you're going to take advantage of that with your next book. Perfect.
Exactly, because people are ready for that. They're ready. Yeah. But I'm kind of about using the law of attraction, but using hypnosis to kind of supercharge it. Because when you use the law of attraction, but when you use it in the alpha state, when you're in that really relaxed state of self-hypnosis, and you project that out there, that's so much more powerful and so much more effective. So that really is where I'm taking the angle for my new book.
Well, there you go. There's a couple of recommendations for listeners. Firstly, Anthony Robbins, who I know has plenty of audio products out there, and you're right, he's a really inspiring speaker, isn't he?
Yeah.
And also The Secret, the audiobook by Rhonda Byrne, which is lots of interviews with kind of successful people in the field of self-help and other fields.
Yeah.
And she has a new one as well, The Power, which is supposed to be very good as well, which I'm looking forward to. I'll maybe ask for that for Christmas or something.
Do you know, I've just started reading that, and it is really good. It's about using your heart energy to really supercharge it, the law of attraction, and that really is where it's all at. I think it's nothing new. It's been around for a long, long time, but sometimes we need re-reminding of the way to use these things and access these techniques, and so that's kind of where we come in.
Glenn, thank you very much indeed. Next up, we have Michael Heppell, best-selling author and motivational speaker, described as the cure for an average life and as one of the top 3 professional speakers in the world. Michael is going to talk to us about having a brilliant life.
Would you like a brilliant life? Would you like to wake up every morning bursting with energy, thinking, yes, come on, rather than thinking, I'll have 5 more minutes and then hitting the snooze button? Well, the good news is you can. When I created Brilliant Life as a book and audio program, my goal was to help you create your own brilliant life. Now listen carefully, as I'm going to share with you 8 ideas in 8 minutes to show you how. Enjoying a brilliant life is all about getting a balance. And I think there are 8 key areas of life that you can focus on.